In one recent study, what we found is with only 6 months of strength training, a whole third of the genes that age over time were made biologically younger. This is incredible news for seniors and elderly who have not been getting any results from what they believe is exercise. What we do, me and my colleagues, in the realm of high-intensity strength training for seniors, essentially we double the strength of elderly, or come very close to doubling the strength in a very short amount of time. This in itself helps mitigate over 37 chronic illnesses, as well as helps us live longer.
Before we get started, I want to tell you I have a free gift for you. Regardless of how you want to exercise, down below there are 3 free PDFs. They're around 11 pages long. They explain the science of how this works, how you can get the most out of your exercise, whether you're using gym machines, whether you're at home and you can't get on the floor, or whether you can get on the floor. There is a PDF down below for you to download and get started.
There is so much recent research about life extension, and this could be benefiting elderly and senior citizens because it all has to do with exercise. And there is only one type of exercise that can give seniors the results that they're looking for. And that's just simply because our biology is the way it is. See, unfortunately, a lot of people seem to approach exercise as though it's not a biological science, but it is, and you can double your strength and change your life starting today. I've been instructing this workout for almost 8 years. That Dr. Doug McGuff and John Little wrote the book Body by Science that outlines the science behind the workout. Doesn't exactly explain in perfect detail how to do it. I've seen more than amazing results. It's just normal for people to throw their canes away after doubling their strength. My mom, after about 3 years of this, found out that she had reversed her osteoporosis with no medication whatsoever, which of course is incredible. So these are 3 of the most important at-home exercises that you could be doing, that you can start doing today. The reason that I cover these is because they don't just cover the entire body, but these 3 exercises are compound exercises. They all use multiple muscle groups. And that's important when choosing which exercises really matter. We want to choose the most impactful ones so we don't have to exercise for a long time. These movements are a pushing with the heels, and this is going to be a squat, or of course a leg press in a gym. And this is also a lat pull down in the gym. Here we're going to do a Superman on the floor that uses the lats. Now, if you are a senior or elderly and you can't get up and down off of the floor, I want to leave some videos up above that you can do. This is all at the dining room table, seated and standing. And there are 6 exercises that you can get started with right now where you don't have to get on the floor. Third exercise is going to be pushing with the upper body. We're going to be pushing against the floor, but you could also use, of course, a chest press. We are all about safety. We're all about intensity. What we know is that we cannot get results from exercise unless we work intensely enough. So this program of timed static contractions allow us to work up our intensity until we get to the most intense level that we possibly can. These 3 exercises are from my course. I'm going to guide you through these increasing 3 levels of intensity. But before we get started, I want you to understand how important it is to breathe deep through exercise no matter what, to keep your shoulders down in good form no matter what you're doing, and to make sure that you slowly put yourself into position. When you are putting yourselves into these positions that are going to contract your muscles deeply, you want to do it safely. So never make any jerky movements. All of that being said, engage your core through exercise and focus on the muscles. Without further ado, these are the 3 exercises from my course that are going to be the most impactful for you to do at home and to get started right now living a longer life through the power of strength training.
For those of you who are comfortable getting up and down off of the ground, then this is really the starting point for you, because I want to make this as meaningful and productive as I possibly can. And generally, if we are able to start getting up and down off the ground from the very beginning, if we're comfortable with that, if we know that we can get back up once we get back down. That's an important distinction to make as well. So all of these factors, thinking about this, if you are unable to get up and down, then the dining room table workout beginning is where you're going to want to start. And you're going to feel way more comfortable stepping into this after that. As a review, and of course, we're doing the squat here. But before we get started with anything else, I want to make clear the most important two factors. The 4 pillars of safety are slow movements. We're always going to take 5 to 10 seconds to put ourselves in these positions and begin contracting against whatever it is that we're contracting against. Second, our neck completely neutral, head facing forward, shoulders down, keeping good form through the entire exercise. We want to be breathing deep through everything, breathing freely, mouth open just by a little bit as well. Nothing restricting our nose or our mouths through this. And lastly, the 4th pillar is engaging our core and focusing deeply on the muscles we're using. We're going to be using 3 levels of intensity over the course of 90 seconds, getting closer and closer and closer. Our target in the end is to reach the moment of momentary muscular failure, the point where the muscles cannot contract any longer. Then, of course, we'll want to take 2 to 3 days off or 5 to 7 days off. It depends on how intensely you are able to train. To be perfectly clear, that's usually the distinction that matters the most with how often people do need to train. Remember that intensity is effort, and effort is the most important thing for getting the health benefits and the muscle growth that we're looking for. It has to burn like crazy in the muscles, no pinching, no straining, no sharp feelings whatsoever. If you have anything like that, discontinue the exercise, and then you can do some alternate exercises. So getting to the squat, I know that's a whole lot of review. We're working primarily our glute muscles. The lower back comes into play, the quads and the hamstrings. Now, most people really only feel the quads, the muscles above the knees. They burn like crazy because there's a ton of nerve endings there. That's absolutely normal. What I want to tell people the most is that when we're pressing into the heels and we're fixed in this deep time contraction that we're doing here, we want to squeeze the glutes as deeply as we can and focus in those muscle groups through the entire process. Of course, all the other factors come into it, engaging the core, all of the important things. I'll give you those cues as we move forward as well. I like describing the squat like barely standing up, because the further down you are, the more the muscles are going to contract. And so the maximum contraction point is when you're really, really low to the ground. And so, essentially, we really want to be in that position. But if your knees tend to hurt a little, like my dad's have, for running most of our lives, it's wear and tear on the knees, things of that nature. And there's some other exercises that you can do as well that will help you get the glutes to a deeper place of momentary muscular failure. You don't have to completely rely on this one. So my advice to everybody is never lower into a position where you feel a pinching in any joint. We always want to steer clear of any pinching sensations, so only go down as far as you can comfortably do, okay? And so the very beginning, of course, I'll just guide you through this. You're above a couch or you're above a chair right here, and very, very slowly over the course of 5 to 10 seconds, you're going to lower yourself into that position where you're feeling the muscles exerting a moderate amount of effort. A lot of people in the high intensity community do tend to call this 50% of your maximum capacity. That's very, very common thing to say. Now, I like to leave this all in your court. So very slowly, that same 5 to 10 seconds, increase that intensity by lowering yourself just a little bit deeper into that squat. Here, allowing yourself to contract the glutes and squeeze them together while you're breathing freely. Your core is engaged, you're feeling the muscles, and I know it burns. You're going to continue to push through it. Again, no pinching, only the intensity in the muscles, purposefully squeezing the glutes as you freely breathe through your mouth and nose, and very slowly, over that course of 5 to 10 seconds, lowering yourself to the deepest level you can possibly be in, comfortably and safely. Again, as much intensity as possible is what we're after. Really working the muscles to a deep contraction, squeezing the glutes, engage through the core, breathing freely. Fixed and stable, the deepest intensity that you can, as hard as you dare. And very gently, slowly, over the course of 5 to 10 seconds, you can lower yourself down and rest and relax. There are some alternatives to this exercise. If you're not able to go down far enough to really feel the glutes engage enough, you could do the glute bridge on the ground. You could do the one-legged glute bridge, which is very intense, and you'll get to momentary muscular failure in those glutes for sure with that one. Or the Superman. So all of these are choices that do use the glutes as well, which again, it's the largest muscle group in the body, so you definitely want to work these muscles in some way. Those options are available for you. The Superman is a great exercise. It's a more advanced option. And I've had clients that have been working with this method for a long time, I would say 4 whole years. And I would say after about a year, you can hold this exercise for about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes, and that's probably about as far as anyone I know could do that is just a normal person genetically. So it is a more advanced exercise because it's more difficult. I will give a couple warnings. If you have any lower back problems, you'll want to be gentle when beginning this, very gentle. And if you feel any pinching in anything, no matter what it is, whether it's your lower back or anything else, you just want to stop the exercise. There's other options for you. This is not necessary to do the Superman. If you feel some pinching, please stop and don't push through the exercise. So the Superman, basically going to be laying on your stomach, and there's a couple of ways that you can do this, and I'll show you at the very beginning. They're going to begin 2 things at the same time. You're going to be balancing on your stomach right here, and you can have your hands out just like this in a Superman flying position, or you can bring them back almost to feel like a lat pull down. It would be like contracting and squeezing the shoulder blades together in order to feel the lats a little bit deeper. Purposeful engagement of those muscles with that movement. And so either way is great. Over the course of 5 to 10 seconds, beginning to put yourself in that position by raising your knees gently, picking your hands and your elbows up off of the ground to allow your back muscles, the lower back, the glutes, the hamstrings to begin contracting with a moderate amount of effort. Now again, for some of you this may be more intense than that. It is okay. Never a pinching, only a deep muscle engagement in the muscles we're feeling over the course of 5 to 10 seconds, increasing that intensity, putting yourself into a deeper position, whether leverage-wise or squeezing the shoulder blades together deeper. Our shoulders are down, we're breathing freely, our core is engaged, we're squeezing the glutes. This is a multi-focus exercise. Combination of the glutes and the lats, feeling these 2 muscles deeply. Again, over the course of 5 to 10 seconds, contracting even deeper, fixing yourself in a deeper position to where you are contracting as hard as you dare into the muscles. The lats squeezing the shoulder blades together, glutes squeezing, breathing deep through this, fixed and stable. As much as you can contract, as deeply as you can feel the muscles working, fixed and stable. Breathing deeply through it.
That's the one.
And over the course of 5 to 10 seconds, very gently and slowly, rest and relax. I am emphasizing to call this the chest push. There's a very important reason. We don't want to do a push-up. A lot of times when people say do a push-up, they'll do this, they'll push against the ground, and they're working their neck muscles in a very, very, very bad way. So we're going to have our neck completely neutral, most of us, and that's the largest percentage of the human population is not able to actually do a push-up in good form. But what we can do is we can push against the ground as an immovable object
in a way that fully fatigues the chest muscles. That's the only goal of all of this. And so we're going to use those same 3 levels of increasing intensity, but we're going to begin in a completely neutral position, laying on the ground completely. Our goal is not going to be to pick ourselves up. Our goal is going to be to press against the ground in the beginning with just a moderate amount of effort to where we can feel the chest working. Now you may be tempted to do this. Never do this. Keep the shoulders down all the way. Now a lot of people, if you can't bend your hands back all the way like this, then you can just create kind of a handle. This would be if you were holding the handles vertically of a grip of a machine to push it, just like a chest press, like this, pushing against it. That's what we're doing when we lay face forward on the ground and push gently. What this does is it allows for our wrist to be completely straight. So that way if you have any wrist problems and you can't bring your wrists all the way back like this, you can still do the chest push on the ground. You just put yourself on your knuckles. That's the way that I'm going to demonstrate doing this. Pushing through the ground like that with the wrists straight. Now you can do it just like this. The demonstration with my dad's workout, he usually has his hands like this. Sometimes he differs a little bit and mixes it up and moves between the two with a place that's very close to each of them. That's fine as well, just as long as you're reaching the deepest amount of momentary muscle failure with yourself in good form. So beginning this steadily in this position very slowly over the course of 5 to 10 seconds, increasing that pressure until you're pushing against the ground with a moderate amount of effort. You're staying in good form, your shoulders are down, you're engaged in the core. Again, your stomach is probably connected to the ground. You're not pushing yourself up off the ground. All you're doing is you're pushing in the direction that works the chest muscles. Keeping the shoulders down over the course of 5 to 10 seconds, increasing that intensity, pushing a little bit deeper until you're pushing almost as hard as you dare. People can use the word 75% of your capacity. That's absolutely fine. Breathing deep, shoulders low, in good form. The core can engage. We're feeling the place in the chest. This is very close to the armpit area, right below the armpits. And here, again, not needing to pick ourselves up at all, but we want to push over the course of 5 to 10 seconds as hard as we dare, using the floor as a way to use our arms to interact, to create a stimulus in our chest. We want to feel that place in the chest muscles burning while the shoulders stay down. We're squeezing inward a little to really get in deeper to the chest. We're feeling the triceps, we're breathing deep, we're keeping the core engaged very gently and slowly over the course of 5 to 10 seconds, resting here and relaxing.